So sectarianism is operating on many levels in Lebanon, and on the political level, I think this is where a lot of the danger lies, because people from all sects, many people feel unrepresented in the system as it stands now. It's satisfying nobody, and also it is a real barrier to change. This very rigid framework that we see along sectarian lines gives people the feeling that they can't change anything in their society. Many are planning to leave because they see no hope. In a social level, I'm sure sectarianism can be managed, and positive things can come from that. I think there are various sectarian organisations. I think humans naturally organise themselves into groups, and this doesn't have to be a negative thing, of course. Whether it's part of a solution is pushing it a little bit further, and possibly too far for me, because I think it's so dependent on the local context, and it's dependent on whether people abuse those sorts of networks, those social networks. And we've seen people wield that power very negatively in the very recent Lebanese past. These categories of sectarian groups in Lebanon are Sunni, Shia and Christian are the majority groups, and then there are also Druze and other Muslim sects, and there has traditionally been a Jewish population, though that's virtually gone now. Now, these categories have bases in a much longer religious past, but it's very difficult to track the usage of these words, Sunni, Shia, Christian, over history, because they have changed so much. They've shifted around, they've shifted emphasis, doctrinal differences and so on. So the reason that I can use the words with confidence in my own research about contemporary Lebanon is that they have been made a reality on the ground for the people who are living it. People are born in Lebanon with an identity, and it's on their identity card, and it affects, for example, what type of access to justice they get in certain ways. What sect you are depends on, for example, family law. It affects access to welfare systems. It affects where you live. Although it's illegal, there are restrictions made on people wanting to rent in certain areas, for example. The education system, there are sectarian educational schools around. It's not legal to restrict anybody's access to them, but socially speaking, they are limited. So if you choose to go to a French Christian school, there might be one Sunni. Fine, that might be normal, but it's going to be majority Christian. So these categories have been made into a social reality on the ground, and that's why it makes sense. The other major reason in Lebanon is that there is a sectarian political system. According to the 1943 verbal agreement, which came after independence from France, they agreed that the president would always be Maronite Christian, the prime minister always Sunni, and the speaker of parliament always Shia. And this sectarian system has lasted until now. There was a tiny bit of reform after the very bloody sectarian civil war that ended in 1990, but that basic sectarian system is still in place. The political parties are sectarian, the civil war was sectarian. So the conflict now we see along sectarian lines. I do anthropological research with people on the ground in Lebanon, cafes, on the street, by the sea, anywhere I can find people. I interview as wide a range of people as I can. And there is a pervasive sense of sectarianism in identity, however much people want that not to be the case.